People are killed all the time in the medical industry. The dead and the dying, it's one of the most controversial topics in the history of mankind. However, there's a problem. What defines death? I'm a student of neuroscience, and I also study human cadaver research in terms of finding human consciousness. Death was a huge ordeal for the ancient Egyptians who believed in Ka, which was essentially a spirit that emulated the entire human existence, but was released after death. In essence, it was located in the heart, but that topic was controversial throughout much of history. According to the Greeks, the Romans, the Babylonians, and the Etruscans, they believed that the liver was the center of human beings, so not the heart.
Ready? So in the 21st century, we accept that the soul, or maybe the consciousness, is rooted in the brain.
As of now, the legal definition of death is considered the state of being brain dead. The scary thing, though, is that sometimes there are diseases that mimic the state of being brain dead, so patients are deemed dead even if they're not.
Well, yeah, people are pronounced dead all the time. We just shine a light in their eyes, and if they're not responsive, we send them to the morgue. I mean, it's more complicated than that. Sometimes a lucky thing happens when a person is pronounced brain dead, or maybe it's more like an unlucky thing. But they still have a heartbeat and therefore vital organs.
So then the question arises, what if no one knows that you're not actually brain dead? This becomes a problem with a rare condition called locked-in syndrome, or pseudocoma.
Locked-in syndrome, LIS for short. Horrible disease. A boy named Martin came in with a strange disease. We thought it was meningitis, but he kept getting worse even after treatment. Eventually, he couldn't speak. Then he couldn't make eye contact. And we knew it was a pseudocoma.
So back in early medicine, people would look at the response in your eyes, and if your eyes weren't responsive, then they'd call you dead, and then that was it. So it's really lucky that now things are different, things are changing, getting better. LIS can be caused by several things, including diseases to the nervous system, the circulatory system, traumatic brain injury, but also even things like medication overdose. As for diagnosis, MRI and CT scans are most often used, but what makes LIS most difficult to diagnose is that it shares so many similarities with other diseases. They call them mute diseases.
Martin was in that state for 12 years. We sent him to hospice several times, but he just didn't give up the fight. This did, though, result in a lot of work for his parents. They had to bathe him, move his body to prevent bed sores. It took a toll on his parents. I heard that one day, unaware that her son was conscious and lucid, Martin's mother said that she wished he were dead. I can't imagine. It's one of those diseases.
Oh yeah, initial treatment is tedious. Later on, it is simpler. You do what you can. Constant therapy is used to relearn everything. And it's very difficult because you have to relearn basic things like breathing, talking, moving, walking, running. Recovery is something that's very difficult to predict, and that's because it really depends on the root cause of LIS. So, the general death rate for LIS tends to be even upwards towards 84%.
Martin had put himself in a state of numbness. He had no choice but to watch time go by. Eventually, though, he gained control over his thoughts, and then his whole body started to recover.
Full recovery is rare, very rare. So it really just depends on the root cause.
Against all odds, Martin was able to make a full recovery.
Thanks to those before us, situations like these aren't going to land you in a mortuary. We have several different ways that can detect consciousness that are unprecedented. There was one experiment where dogs were measured before and after death to see if the soul could be measured in terms of mass. But that experiment was flawed in many ways, so we know that the brain, not the soul, is actually our center.